Ta-da! Excellent. So, this is a topic that I have contemplated for years. As with most things I talk about, it's not the first time I've ever thought of it. So, this is an instructional. Going to give you some pointers, some criteria, some instructions on how to become a pariah. Let me get off on the right foot by starting letting you know it's not called a social pariah. That'd be like saying an outcast, a social outcast to society or of society. It's called being redundant. It's just a pariah. It feels uncomfortable because it's not a word we use very often. Even the word itself is almost a pariah, right? The word itself is an outcast. Wouldn't you know? How to be a pariah? Well, one of the first ways that I'd like to discuss and share with you relentless honesty. And no. I'm not talking about, well, that's just my opinion, blah, blah, blah. I'm not talking about somebody that just says what's on their mind, although that may be part of it. That's not what I'm talking about at all. I'm talking about somebody that's relentlessly vulnerable with the secrets within. Rather, no secrets within. When I say relentless honesty, what I'm really saying is a man without secrets. Not about others, because that would be gossip, which actually earns you favor in the light of society. Being a social gossip actually heightens your level of social desirability because people are looking for more people like that sort of thing, right? No, that's not what I'm talking about at all. What I'm talking about is someone who has no secrets. Someone who shares the most vulnerable aspects of themselves, not in some false humility kind of way, or false humility. That's not what I'm referring to. What I'm saying is somebody that's genuine, honest, and has no secrets. Why is the timer going? I guess we're live. Again, the timer's going. It didn't say you're live. Connection problems. There is a flaw to this process. Maybe 6G will solve all of our problems. There won't be any lack of connectivity. Maybe one day humans will be the antenna. All right, back to the pariah conversation. Not sure where that cut out, so let me recap a little bit, just to be clear. Complete, genuine, sincere, unrelenting honesty and truthfulness about oneself is the first measure to being a pariah. I indicated that I did not mean the kind of honesty that was a false humility. That won't make you a pariah per se. False humility, some people even look up to that. I don't know. They mistake it for something else, and then they're admired for it, and it's awkward. That's not what I'm referring to. I'm talking about somebody that's honest about their faults in a sincere and genuine way. They have no secrets. And in so disclosing, they cause everyone whom they come into contact with to be outrageously uncomfortable. Why is that? Why does one man's genuine, sincere disclosure of what others would find highly private and secret because of shame, a shameless man is what I'm referring to. A shameless man is the first instruction to becoming a pariah. A man with no shame. No, that's not to say that he doesn't desire to do better in life. In this example, that's not to say that he doesn't want to improve. That's not to say that he doesn't have desires to do better. I'm trying to avoid words like remorse, regret, but shameless. Okay? There are plenty of people out there that say, I'm proud of what I did, and no, that's not what I'm talking about. That's not what I mean by shameless. What I mean by shameless in this specific example, what I'm saying is the person who doesn't seek to protect themselves from social criticism. The person who, where others would say, oh, I'm going to have to keep this to myself because that is either really shameful or that is really embarrassing. I don't want other people to know about this. The person who rejects those mentalities, the person who says, I don't care if it's embarrassing. I don't care if it's shameful. I think people should have access to that knowledge about me because of this. And this is the key ingredient that causes you to be a pariah. Not because of virtue signaling, not because of that. That's not why. Not because of false humility, which is another version of the same thing I just mentioned. Not because of that at all. But specifically for the sake of personal growth. Now that, my friends, when someone discloses their innermost vulnerable components, historical events, whatever you want to call them, somebody discloses them for the sake of personal development, shamelessly, genuinely, sincerely, honestly seeking virtue, honestly seeking improvement, righteousness, you may say, a sense of, purity, I don't know, justification, not the right word. Justification's definitely the wrong word. There's a word I'm looking for. Sanctification. Yeah, it's a churchy's word. Doesn't matter. The concept is exactly what I'm going for. It's the best word to describe. So someone who sincerely seeks sanctification, that is the secret ingredient of this concept, this one mentality that I'm trying to communicate. The search for sanctification, that is one of the key ingredients. First steps in becoming a pariah. That's one. Let's see. Let's see if you can come up with one. Help me out. we'll rely upon the live chat in the stream here, of which there are countless. The way I perceive this current number of viewers it's countless. The number of viewers right now is countless. I am unable to count the number of viewers. I cannot count it. I hope you understand what I mean. So the number of comments that I'm receiving right now during this stream is also countless. Completely incapable of counting how many comments I'm receiving right now. So thank you for that. So let me reach deep inside of the live chat and find a comment that will spark the next ingredient to becoming a pariah. What is it, guys? I'll give you some time. The next ingredient to becoming a pariah. Well, what is happening? There are all sorts of interruptions in life, guys. No idea when I got cut off. So, refer back to what I was saying. I was waiting on the live chat for an idea. And, well, I came up with one. Thank you for your assistance. All you countless people out there. Countless. So one of the ways to look at what a pariah is and how to become one is to look at and to contemplate what makes someone popular, right? The opposite of pariah. Someone that is socially sought after. So according to some of my earlier videos, I discussed ways that people were desired, things that were desired in life. So I did what was the video? It was about, it wasn't the word persecution, but basically it was a video all about the ways that rich people are ostracized. But the point was that wealth, people love wealth, but they hate the wealthy. Obviously, I proved that conclusively. If you watch that video, you'll understand. But yes, one of the ways that you can become popular, well-known, in the limelight, in the spotlight of society, is by having something that others desire. And it's a self-reproducing machine. Is self-perpetuating. Popularity breeds more popularity. You'll see this in different YouTube channels. Those that have no viewership continue to have no viewership for the most part. And those that have massive amounts of viewership, let's say anything north of 1 million, which is, if it was exclusively American viewers, you're still talking about less than 1%. But it's global, so it's definitely less than 1% of society. But yet that's significant. Big numbers. But yeah, anyway, anything north of 1 million continues to grow as long as there's fuel being, not fuel. Yeah, fuel being added to the fire. That's what it is. Wood, whatever. So as long as the content continues, there's typically it just continues to either plateau or grow, depending. Anyway, single-digit viewership, for instance, for that to hit triple digits or quadruple digits in a short amount of time would be extremely unlikely. It's the way the algorithms work. But that is the ironic thing, is there are probably thousands of YouTube channels, for instance, with content that is valuable, thought-worthy, wisdom-containing, truth-containing, and in some cases will literally never be heard by anyone, ever. Kind of amazing. I mean, with 4 hours per minute of content being uploaded, this obviously being one of, part of the statistic. There's content that's getting recorded that will possibly never be seen by anyone ever. Given that, I mean, it's baffling. And for as much time as is wasted by content analysis or reception or whatever, for the crap that people watch and read that has no value, that you're like, oh, I'll never get those minutes back, there is probably tenfold, 100-fold, a millionfold of valuable information out there that you're missing out on while you read a clickbait article about nothing. It's just advertising, trying to make somebody some money. How to be a pariah. How are you popular? Have something that everybody wants. So let's follow logic here that we don't believe in. Just hypothetically, we don't believe in it, according to previous videos. Right? Just trying to be logically consistent, even though we don't believe in it. So, if to be popular is to have something that people want, then to be not popular and therefore also a pariah, you need to have something that nobody wants. Well, back in the day, that would be something like leprosy, right? Stay away from that guy. He's got leprosy. Well, what's social leprosy? I've already explained one of the ways to be a social leper, by being that honest, sanctification-seeking individual. That's one of the ways. That is social leprosy, guys. Very few people want that. Do you know why very few people want social sanctification? Why so few people want sanctification? Why? Well, we as humans tend to have a belief that we are right. We tend to have a belief that what we think and what we believe is right. On the other hand, there are folks out there that supposedly believe that they cannot know anything. They are referred to as agnostics. They are not social pariahs for believing that. There's some irony in being indecisive about your beliefs. It's a form of decisiveness. That's where the irony lies. If you think about it, just think about it. There's a certain decisiveness in that indecisiveness. Something that's kind of unavoidable. They are refusing, which is a choice. I think the pure agnostic might claim that they could know. However, almost all of them operate as though they couldn't know, which again is a choice, and it is decisive. And they don't just say, I don't know. They say, I can't know in practice. Think about that. Well, all I'm saying is, how many big Kmarts can a city open up and then shut down? That's amazing. That's amazing. All I'm saying is that the man who says, I may be wrong, for the premise of most of their arguments, even their beliefs, however, at the same time they retain faith through a belief of I might be wrong. This is starting to shape this pariah that I'm discussing. So what does nobody want? We know the things that people do want. People like popularity, people like influence, people like power, people like, and those are almost all the same thing, I understand, but it's okay to provide synonyms. Money, pleasure. People want these things. Pleasure being among the top, right? Hedonism. Anything that makes me feel good. These are things that people want. There are the Stoics, there are the masochists that seek out somewhat the antithesis of those things, and therefore those things are too desired, such as pain, torture, hardship, sacrifice. But in a way, they are seeking something else in the process of seeking pain, torture, subjection, whatever it may be. There's an end goal. So it could be for honor, right? The purpose of somebody that might be a masochist, self-sacrificer, so on. The end goal should be considered is more than likely a form of honor that they are truly seeking. That's what they hope to gain. There's an end game, right? So what is it that people would want to avoid? Naturally, at the very least. This isn't all people at all times, because I believe that there's an entire group, for lack of a better word, I believe there's an entire group of people who, by what they're seeking, just ends up making them a pariah. So, sanctification is not a good enough answer. Those who seek sanctification are pariahs. It goes deeper than that, because I'm trying to fully describe what it is that people would want to avoid. Okay, so get this in your mind. What is it that people would want to avoid? If people want power, people want pleasure, people want influence, people want peace. There's a lot of P words. A lot of P words out there in these power, pleasure. Hey, this is a more noble word. Purpose. People desire purpose too, right? Okay, so there are all those things, and then there's something that people would want to avoid. What is something that is higher, better, holier even, I'll use the word holier, more set apart than all of those things? Well, altruism in its purest form. Not self-serving altruism that does get called altruism, even though it shouldn't be. It's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about true altruism. For the sake of and in the name of. Yes, in the name of God. Altruism in the name of God. For the sake of. More clearly, let's refer to it as obedience. Now, that's a conversation in of itself. How does one seek obedience to God, to Creator? My point is, it is an ostracizing, segregating, and socially debilitating way to live life if you seek obedience to your Creator. It just is. People by nature want to serve themselves. We hear things like, just do what makes you happy. Hey, if it feels good, do it. These are the sorts of things we hear. Well, ancient philosophers, they discussed things in more broad terms. If it's good for existence, if it's good for eternity, if it's good for all things, if the action is good for all things, then it is good. If it the result of your action benefits existence, then it is good. There's a lot of question as to what benefit is. Who determines benefit? Going back to some of those philosophical questions that we've discussed at other times, such as my conversation on survival and why survival is inherent. It's a good question, guys. It's one to think about. Well, I said that for you. Reconnecting. I have no idea. I don't know if any of this is being recorded. But if it is, it'll stand the test of time. Maybe the 4G world is really disgusted by this topic, because I'm calling into question the nature of the purposes of life. It's pretty rough, guys. I'm questioning these things that most people just take for granted. What is the purpose of life? It can be summed up, because it's a big container. It can be summed up in a few short words. Obedience to the Creator. I like to say it in that logical term, and I'll say that again because, there's always distortion and whatever. Obedience to the Creator, guys. What's the purpose of life? What's the meaning of life? Obedience to the Creator. And I'll say it in the most simple mathematical way I can think. If there is a Creator of all things, Guys, if there is a creator of all things, guys, if there is a creator of all things, guys, creator of all things, obedience to that creator. It is simple logic. If creator, obedience. So you better find out how you can be obedient to this creator of all things. You better find out. You know where you find out? It's not your feelings. Those were created, though. It's not your thoughts. Although those are the substance of the creation. But they are not the creator themselves. They are the creation. So do you follow creation or creator? There's a lot of folks out there seeking creation. Guys, it's a simple thing. I didn't say it was easy. It's downright impossible for some folks because they don't want to be a pariah. They don't want to be a pariah. That's the gist. I'm doing that thing. Dangerous. We're in a parked car. Oh, it's happening. Oh my gosh. So vulnerable right now. So vulnerable. Not at all the type of vulnerability I was referring to in becoming a pariah. One or three or 45,000 or I don't know, 3 million or I don't know, 935 million. Somewhere in that number of individuals on this planet will understand what I'm talking about, regardless of language barriers and stuff like that. Oh, I mean, there are economical ways. You can be a pariah. Parked car, guys. I'm in a parked car. This is what you're gonna do. It's amazing. You know, I see the seconds counting down. I can't be 100% confident that you're hearing what I'm saying. Reconnecting. Parked car, not moving. Why am I reconnecting? I don't get it. I don't understand. But anyway, I said you earned it. I said you deserve. If you've made it this far, you definitely deserve. Somebody's doing donuts in the parking lot. You definitely deserve. It's a really wide tire base. It's amazing. You deserve this. All right, so here's some of the ways. Have an IQ over 140. Instant ability to be a social pariah. You could say, oh, well, there's lots of people that are really smart that are popular. Yeah, not really. You pretty much are ostracized because people, they can't relate to you, not being relatable, that sort of thing, right? So have an IQ over 140. That's one of the ways. Obviously, it's not... I mean, I don't know what I'm supposed to do. I'm sitting still. What are you getting disconnected for? I don't get it. All right, so if this is being recorded, here you go. Here's another one. Being a white man. It's a way to be a pariah. It just is. I'm not going to say anything else about that. What's another way? I think I'll end on that. It's heavy duty. Dead serious. Even YouTube wants me to be a pariah. That's why they're trying to break me down with the reconnect, 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 no less than 5 or 6 times.